Happy Friday, April 2nd, 2021. Welcome to the 3 Things I Learned in SaaS Sports Tech and Lab Events, a follow-up to one of the ones last week. Somebody who I really admire, who's very successful, she sent me this quote as a follow-on to what we talked about last week and having labels and making an important point out of not answering those labels. It ain't what they call you, it's what you answer to. It's a W.C. Fields quote. She sent this to me and gave a lot of examples of her life, and it made me think a lot about the examples of my professional life. You know, when I came through school, I was a jock, but I answered a great student. When I went to the LA Kings and the Dodgers, I was a ticket salesman, but I didn't answer to that label, even though people called me that all the time. When we went to Stubhub, we got called every name there was. Broker, middleman, scumbag, whatever you want to name it. And people still try to give us that label from our time when we were there. We answered to tech disruptor, VC-backed firm. When we came to ticketmanager, we got labeled as niche. We've never answered to that. We've always answered to market creator. And the coverage we've had in the last couple of weeks and the momentum we have is showing there's a lot bigger market than people saw. It sounds easy to push back when somebody's calling you a label, but it's not, because as you come up, you don't have a lot of leverage. You have a lot of self-doubt. You have people who have accomplished so much sitting across from you, calling you these names, and sometimes it discounts you. And I'll share an important story about that in the future that happened to me at the Dodgers that I did push back on without understanding how important that would be to me later in my life. But it ain't what they call us. It's what we answer to. And let's make a point out of only answering to the name that we choose to answer to, not what the world wants to tell us. That's number 1. Number 2, quoting Leo Tolstoy this week. All happy families resemble one another, but each unhappy family fails in its own way. Here at Ticketmanager, we read business advice. We read business books. We have book reports due every week for the executive team. And most of those books are written by people who have been successful. You see the businesses that have worked their way through the wars in whatever industry they are and the ones that came out on top. And all of those stories look really similar to each other. That's Tolstoy's point. The failures all failed for different reasons. Often when we read these books or when we follow influencers online, they give us really valuable advice, but it seems so obvious. You read it and think, who wouldn't do this? Well, when you start putting all of those things together and realize that they're ands and not ors, you start to realize that it's not that obvious and it's critically important. That's number 2. And number 3, there are no rental cars on Maui. There are also no restaurant reservations for the next month. Why does this matter? Those of you who have followed us and keep up with us know that we spent December to early March in Maui hiding away from coronavirus. We paid $16 a day for our car, and we could walk into any restaurant we wanted, no matter how popular, at any time, even though they only had 30% capacity. Now, the island is overflowed. They don't have resources. We're seeing the same in ticketing. Our corporations that are posting tickets are selling everything for face value or way over face value, even for crummy games that usually don't have a lot of demand. The faucet is turning on. It's turning on a lot faster than a lot of people thought it would, including myself. It could lead to a really interesting summer and fall. That's some good news to end with on this week. That's the 3 things for this week. We'll see everyone next week on the 3 things.